Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome to the first ever Halloween video of 2022 ever. No other YouTuber has uploaded a single Halloween video this year. I'm the only one. Joking aside, this is the first Halloween video for the channel of 2022. And a bit of a lackluster start, but it's a start nonetheless. I wanted the first one to be an nostalgic episode, but I couldn't finish it in time. So I got this compilation of a series I did on TikTok last year, and I'm continuing again this year. It's on my TikTok channel, at Mr. Johnson Reviews, where every day throughout the month of October, I review one horror movie or Halloween special a day up to Halloween. And basically what happened with it, that it went pretty successful, pretty good for the page, but there are only 29 videos in this video, and the reason is because two of them, the sound was removed off of TikTok that I used in the background, and there go, both of the videos were muted. This being my review of the Rocky Horror Picture Show and my review of It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. I think Rocky Horror Picture Show was like either video number 10, 13, or 15. One of those three. Watch me be completely wrong on both of them. And It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown was video number 31. Like, it was released on Halloween. And it kind of sucked that those two ended up being removed, because I really love those videos and those movies. Like, they're very great things to watch, like, around Halloween, and in the case of Rocky Horror, like, literally any time. So, yeah. Hopefully, I'll be able to review those again this year, and TikTok won't remove the sound from the video. So, with all that out of the way, please enjoy 31 days of Halloween movie reviews. Welcome to day 1 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at the original Godzilla from 1954. What can I say about this movie and the Godzilla character that everyone else hasn't already said? Something that I really appreciate about this film is that it doesn't really treat itself like a B-movie. It's instead treated like an actual real-life disaster, especially with the hospital scene. Godzilla also looks freaking terrifying in black and white, where in the later films it was in color and I'm sorry, what is that? Regardless, Godzilla is perhaps one of, if not the greatest Japanese monster movie of all time. Whether you're watching the American version or the original Japanese version, Godzilla is truly a classic and a masterpiece of its era. Welcome to day 2 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're taking a look at Venom: Let There Be Carnage. Now, I thought the first Venom was fine, but I definitely think the character could have gotten a lot better in the film. So, when I heard they were making a sequel, I was curious to see, whoa, how are they going to handle Carnage? Carnage does actually look pretty cool, but Woody Harrelson's performance... what the frick? He's kind of going for funny and scary, but he really isn't either. This movie also introduced his girlfriend Shriek, who has Black Canary powers, but the film does not explain how the frick she even has these powers to begin with. They gave her more of an origin story on how she lost her eye, rather than how she got her powers. I think the movie says it that she's a mutant, so this movie takes place in the X-Men universe. Also, the movie's very short at around 90 minutes, and you can obviously tell that they were cutting corners. And you can also tell that this movie desperately wanted to be rated R. The main villain of this movie is a serial killer. You can tell they wanted to show some gore. Now, easily the best thing about this movie has got to be, one, the relationship between Eddie and Venom. They definitely do have a chemistry, like, bro, I'm not who I am without you. I need you. On both ends, really. And, alright, let's talk about that post-credit scene. Obviously, spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. Venom and Eddie are watching TV, and Venom tells Eddie about the type of stuff that symbiotes experience. And then the room starts to shake, and it's clearly the multiverse getting into madness. Suddenly, Eddie and Venom are in a different room, and J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons, shows up on the TV. And he's reporting about Spider-Man's identity getting revealed, showing a picture of Tom Holland. So yeah, Venom's in the MCU now. This is most likely happening after Peter messed up Doctor Strange's spell and messed up the multiverse. The same thing probably happened to Doc Ock, the other Spider-Man. This could have even happened to Deadpool for all we know. And since No Way Home looks like it's gonna have a multiversal Sinister Six, with the trailers showing off villains from past Spider-Man movies, such as Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Sandman, Electro, and people are saying that the Lizard is in there, but it has not been confirmed, Venom could very well be the sixth villain to round out the Sinister Six. Overall, Venom Let There Be Carnage is a decent movie, but holy crap will it get you excited for the future. Welcome to day 3 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at Hocus Pocus. Now, I'm well aware that a lot of people really like this movie, they think it's genuinely a great film, and they watch it every year. But guys, come on. We all know that this is not a good movie. It's a fun movie, don't get me wrong. It's kinda stupid at parts, but it's objectively not a very good film. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the Sanderson sisters, nobody would care about this movie. Because the Sanderson sisters are legitimately the best part about this film. And it's all due to their performances. Don't get me wrong, their writing is terrible. But the way that these actresses say their lines and the inflection in their voices, well, it just makes this movie and it turns whatever they said hilarious. This is why whenever you see merch of the film, it's always the Sanderson sisters. They're the only good thing in this movie. That and the effects are nice. So yeah, Hocus Pocus. It's a dumb movie, but it's a lot of fun. Welcome to day 5 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're taking a look at Twilight Zone the movie. Of course, based on the classic anthology series, The Twilight Zone. This movie remakes 4 classic episodes of The Twilight Zone, which all of them are directed by a different person. You have a bigot experiencing the suffering that black people and Jews have to go through, directed by John Landis. A bunch of old people that get turned into kids and learn to accept their youth, directed by Steven Spielberg. A little boy who uses his psychic power to his advantage, directed by Joe Dante. And the classic Gremlin on the Wing, directed by George Miller. All these directors do a great job of making these segments feel like they belong in the same movie. With the exception of Spielberg, who in my opinion has the worst segment of the movie. It's not bad, it just doesn't really match the tone with the rest of the movie. But the rest of the segments are solid reenactments of the original episodes. If you're a fan of the show, or you just like horror anthologies, I'd say give it a look. Welcome to day 6 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're taking a look at King Kong. This is one of the greatest movies of all time. There's no debating it, there's no questions, whatever. King Kong is one of the greatest films ever. Such an important movie too. Being one of the first movies to heavily utilize special effects, and in particular stop-motion animation done by the great Willis O'Brien. I think it's safe to say that 1933 was an amazing year for special effects, since The Invisible Man also came out that year. But back to Kong, this has one of the most classic film stories of all time, the story of Beauty and the Beast. The funny thing about Kong is that he's not really a killing machine. When Kong first meets Anne, he pretty much falls in love with her. All Kong really wants to do is just be happy and defend himself. And when he gets kidnapped at the end of the movie, you feel bad for the guy. These people invaded his home, took him away from it, exploited him for profit, and then resulted in his death. But the human characters are also very likable though. You might not 100% agree with what they're doing, but they're fun to be around. Overall, King Kong will go down in film history for a reason. With a great story, great characters, and phenomenal special effects for the time, and even today, almost 90 years later, they still look amazing. King Kong will go down in history as one of, if not the greatest monster movie of all time. Keep in mind, I haven't seen Mighty Joe Young. Welcome to day 7 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're taking a look at Little Shop of Horrors. I love this movie and everything about it. When you hear the concept of this movie, you'd think it'd just be a simple B movie, but no, it actually has a lot of great stars in it, a pretty popular director, and even some writers that have gone on to work on Disney movies. And it goes beyond the typical B movie with some amazing special effects. The movie is also freaking hilarious. Most of that is mainly due to the amazing performances from actors such as Rick Moranis and Steve Martin. All of the songs fucking slap. I'm telling you, I can recite Mean Green Mother from Outer Space, Suddenly Seymour, Skid Row, Grow For Me, and Dentist in my sleep. I want to end this video with a bit of a fun fact about the film. Because the film is a horror comedy musical that heavily uses a lot of puppetry, it only makes sense that for a director they get someone who has a lot of experience with wacky musicals using a lot of puppets. Frank Oz, aka the puppeteer and voice behind characters such as Fozzie Bear, Miss Piggy, Cookie Monster, Grover, Bert, and even fucking Yoda. Welcome to day 8 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. And Muppets Haunted Mansion just dropped today, let's watch it! And of course, it's fucking buffering. I got the double setup and everything, man, I was ready! I love this already by the opening song, oh my god! This special is amazing. If you're a fan of the Muppets, the Haunted Mansion, or especially both, I highly recommend you watch this. There's tons of fun little Easter eggs that both Muppet fans and Haunted Mansion fans will squeal over. And there's a variety of different Muppet cameos, some of which haven't been seen in decades. I also love some of the character combinations they did. My personal favorites being Miss Piggy as Madame Leota, and Fozzie Bear as the Hatbox Ghost. The songs are also really great too. My personal favorite being the ballroom number, which has the perfect amount of Muppet insanity and Haunted Mansion insanity. And regarding the humans, Will Arnett as the ghost host is a lot of fun. And Taija P. Henson as Constance Hatchaway is fucking hilarious. I love her. She is batshit insane, and I wouldn't mind her playing Hatchaway in a legitimate live-action Haunted Mansion movie. Overall, I can't recommend this special enough. If you have Disney Plus, please go ahead and check it out. And hey, if this gets enough streams, maybe Disney will consider more Muppet stuff in the future? Maybe. Welcome to day 9 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at Trick or Treat. This film without a doubt has to be one of, if not the best Halloween movie. And I don't mean like horror movies, I mean specifically a Halloween movie. Because everything about this movie just screams the holiday. To the costumes, to the stories, to the decorations, to the dialogue, to all the fucking jack-o'-lanterns in the movie. Like, seriously, look at all the fucking jack-o'-lanterns. And it's an anthology film, too. But not in the traditional way. All the stories happen around the same time. There's one that's about a mysterious legend of a bunch of misfit kids that were drowned in a school bus. One who's pretty much the Halloween version of Ebenezer Scrooge. One about a bunch of teenage girls who go to a Halloween party, and it's later revealed that they're werewolves. And a school principal who takes Halloween traditions way too far. And the way that all these stories are connected in various different ways is actually pretty creative. And at the centerpiece of it all is the character of Sam, who is pretty much the embodiment of the holiday. This character is pretty much everything about Halloween rolled into one. He's dark, he's twisted, he's terrifying, but he's also cute, playful, and fun. Not to mention, he also looks like a kid just going trick-or-treating. Like, how is Sam not the official mascot of Halloween? please, if you haven't done it already, give Trick or Treat a watch this holiday season. I watch it every single year, and it's honestly one of my favorite horror movies, and I can't wait to watch it again this year. Welcome to day 10 of 31 Halloween movie review. Today, we're looking at the original Invisible Man. It's about a scientist who creates a potion that can turn himself invisible. Great news, it was a success! The only problem is he can't find a way to reverse it. So he takes advantage of it and starts a bunch of ruckus and commits crimes and even fucking murder. This movie was a game changer for special effects. Keep in mind, this movie came out in 1933, decades before CGI was even a thing. And they were able to do this shit, man! This shit came out in 1933! Like, that's amazing. The Invisible Man himself is also a delight to watch. It's fun to see him be a complete asshole to some people, yet he still cares so much for his little lady. I also love how his crimes range from robbing a bank and spreading all the money out Robin Hood style, to causing an entire fucking train to go down to hell filled with like hundreds of people. So yeah, this is a great movie with some great special effects, great characters, and it's overall just a fun time. Should probably bring up the remake, but it's really only a remake in name and the concept of a guy turning invisible. Aside from that, they're completely different movies. They are both fantastic in their own separate ways. I'll probably make a separate video about this film, but trust me, it's still a really good movie. Welcome to day 11 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at Paranorman. This film was done by the same animation studio that did Coraline a couple years prior, and you can tell. I just love looking at this movie. This has got to be some of the best stop-motion animation that I've ever seen. To the simple puppets, to the effects on the ghosts and zombies, to the freaking witch. Oh my god. Seriously, I just want to take a moment to talk about this, because not a lot of people are respecting this. This freaking beast was a big old combination of hand-drawn animation, CGI, and stop motion. And in the film, it looks amazing. The people who animated this must have went through hell. And her character's also really tragic. She was just a kid and who was accused of witchcraft, and she ended up making a big old mess of everything. But the film was also really fun. There's quite a bit of nice little humor here and there. Not all of them are funny, but a few of them will give you a chuckle. And the horror aspect is actually very strong. It's one of the few kids films released in the past couple decades that actually deserves the PG rating. Overall, Paranorman is one of the best horror kids movies, and if you haven't checked it out, please do so. It's a really great movie. I actually reviewed this movie on my YouTube channel last year. Go ahead and check it out. Welcome to day 12 of 31 Halloween movie review. Today we're looking at Tower of Terror. This movie is fine. This is a purposely serviceable spooky kids film. I doubt it will really leave much of an impact on you if you do watch it, but it's fine. This movie is based on the Disney ride of the same name, which is based on the Twilight Zone, so we have a movie based on a ride based on a TV show. But what's really cool about this movie that they actually filmed on location on the ride at Disney World. That, and it is historically significant as the first film based on a Disney ride. The first theatrical film was The Country Bears in 2002. So this was less of a review and more of a fun facts video the more I'm thinking about it. Decent movie. Welcome to day 13 of 31 Halloween movie review. Today we're taking a look at Hotel Transylvania. This movie is far from the best Halloween movie of all time, but for the film that we got, it's actually a lot of fun. It's about Dracula forming a hotel in order to protect monsters from humans, and particularly his daughter Mavis. But when Mavis turns 118, a human randomly shows up at the hotel. And Mavis is getting feelings for this human who is disguised as Frankenstein's monster's cousin. There are three things that I really like about this movie. One are the monster references. Throughout the film, we get several different types of cameos from different monsters and monster types. Quasimodo, the Fly, the Blob, the creature from the Black Lagoon, along with our main cast of Universal monsters, and some more generic monsters like gremlins, witches, a skeleton mariachi band, and zombies. I also appreciate that the film can take its time and have slower moments for the characters. Dracula's backstory is legitimately heartbreaking, and you understand why he's so protective of Mavis. And the animation is fantastic. It's one of the most expressive computer animated films I've ever seen. It's not the first time we've had super wacky, super stylized computer animation, but films like Horton Hears a Who walked so that this film could run. And it helps that the film was directed by an animation veteran who is well versed in a variety of different types of animation. You may know this guy, Gendy Tartakovsky. He created TV shows like Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, Star Wars Clone Wars, Symbiotic Titan, and the upcoming Unicorn Warriors Eternal. Overall, Hotel Transylvania is a fun movie. It's not the greatest or even the funniest animated movie out there, but it's definitely going to give you a smile throughout the film, and you will laugh at least once or twice throughout the film. It definitely has enough material to keep me coming back to it every single year. Welcome to day 14 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at The Addams Family. This movie is pretty much one of the most Halloweenish movies I've ever seen that isn't directly about Halloween, the holiday. It's fun, it's creepy, it's kinda cute at some points, and it's about family bonding. A huge part to why this movie works goes to the amazing performances from the actors. Everyone does an amazing job on bringing these classic characters to life. The effects are also really good too. Like, for instance, Thing is no longer just an arm in a box. You can actually see the decapitated hand. And the production design is top tier. At times, it looks like the comics just leaped off the page. I will admit, the story can be a little bit predictable, but everything else around the story totally makes up for it. Overall, The Addams Family is spoopy doopy fun for the whole family. Definitely better than whatever the fuck this shit is. Welcome to day 15 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at Corpse Bride. This movie has become a cult classic for many. So is it worthy of its cult status? I'd say so. My favorite thing about it has to be the animation. Tim Burton's signature creepy style is all over it. It's also a decent love story. The bride Emily just wants some true happiness. Victor is kind of a walking stereotype of a Tim Burton protagonist. Still a likable character. The songs, on the other hand, aren't really that memorable, with me only really being able to remember one of them. I guess it's kind of hard to top the success of Nightmare. But overall, Corpse Bride is a pleasant movie. It's definitely not one of Tim Burton's greatest movies, but it is still a lot of fun. You happy, Savvy? I finally looked at the movie. Welcome to day 16 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. And today we're looking at Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. One of the things that I really respect about this movie is that it's one of the few horror musicals that actually treats itself seriously. The great majority of the time we get a horror musical, it's usually a comedy. But this movie is a flat-out horror movie where characters sing and dance. Okay, more sing, because there really isn't that much dancing in this film, if any. Johnny Depp is surprisingly really good as Sweeney Todd. Yeah, his voice doesn't quite match the film's Broadway origins, but I think it works for the movie. I love the look of the film, with all of the colors being in blues and grays, to show how much of a shithole London was at the time. That, and it makes the blood pop out really well. The songs are also really damn good, but I do have a few problems with them. Helena Bonham Carter is not a very good singer at all. And it's not like with Depp, where her voice kind of works for the film. She just sounds like ass. And for a lot of the musical numbers, they got rid of the chorus for some reason. This is most noticeable during the song God That's Good. They got rid of the chorus, and you can tell, and it feels so damn awkward. And they just flat out cut the Ballad of Sweeney Todd. And that's a shame because it was supposed to be sung by Dracula himself, Christopher Lee. But apparently Tim Burton doesn't know what awesomeness is. But despite all its flaws, I still really enjoy Sweetie Todd. Sure, it is a pretty flawed film, especially when you compare it to its source material. But it's a fun gore fest with some great acting and some great music. Welcome to day 17 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at the original miniseries version of It. This movie is a delight. The film actually reminds me a lot of Nightmare on Elm Street, with it being about a creepy dude who stalks a bunch of kids and creates their biggest fears. Only instead of being in their dreams, it's in broad daylight and only they can see it. The child actors are really good in this. You feel for these kids on an emotional level. The acting behind them is great, and you want to make sure that they're okay in the end because the grand majority of them have shitty home lives. And of course, Tim Curry as Pennywise is fantastic. What's so creepy about this dude is that he's legitimately a good clown. He's funny, he's wacky, he puts a smile on your face. So when he hurts and kills children, that just makes everything a whole lot more creepier. However, I'm not that fond of the second half of the miniseries, which features the grown-up versions of the kids. It's not often when the adult actors are worse than the child actors, but this series somehow broke the mold. Although something that I heavily respect this series for cutting out is the 13-year-old gangbang scene from the book. Yeah, there was a three-way, the characters were like 14. What the fuck, King? So yeah, the original It. The first half is really memorable and fun. The second half, just skip it. Strangely enough, I feel the exact same way about the movies. Welcome to day 18 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at the 2004 Phantom of the Opera. This movie's trash! There's a lot of things wrong with this movie, but today I want to talk about the music and the performances. A grand majority of the amazing songs from the musical were butchered to death. This ranges from something as simple as bad singing to speaking the lyrics for some reason. Why would you speak the lyrics? That just makes things so awkward. And the performances, especially Gerard Butler as the Phantom, is just garbage. And that's his makeup? It looks like a bad sunburn. This movie's absolute garbo. Just stick to the musical. Welcome to day 19 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at The Shining. This is without a doubt one of the greatest horror movies ever made. And one of the reasons is because it's so damn creepy. The film is very slow, like a lot of Stanley Kubrick movies, and it takes its time with its scares. But that just makes the scares even scarier because you're anticipating for something to happen. The acting is amazing. Jack Nicholson has perhaps the best performance I've ever heard in a horror movie. This movie, and specifically his performance, has become one of the most parodied things for a reason. Overall, The Shining is a masterpiece of horror. Anyone who's interested in the genre or film in general needs to watch this movie. It's fantastic. Welcome to day 20 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. We're looking at the original Halloween. That I really appreciate about this movie that there's no gore. Now, I love a gore fest as much as the next guy, but the lack of gore in this movie is actually very creepy because what you can imagine is way more disturbing than what can actually happen in the film. So, Michael Myers is freaking terrifying. Just look at the mask. That is a creepy mask. I mean, it's just a William Shatner mask that they spray painted white, but it's disturbing. Jamie Lee Curtis is great as Laurie. She's pretty much become the basis for the final girl in horror movies, also known as the Scream Queen. And Donald Pleasance is also really good as Loomis. He knows that there's a monster out and he needs to stop it and get the job done. Overall, Halloween is one of the greatest Halloween films ever, but it's not the best Halloween movie. I'm not talking about the franchise, I'm talking about the holiday. Because at the end of the day, it is still just about a killer in a mask. A movie that really celebrates and worships the holiday, check out Trick or Treat. You will not regret it. Welcome to day 21 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Yes, I know I'm like a week behind, so today I'm going to play major catch-up. Today we're looking at A Nightmare on Elm Street. One of the most unique slasher films I've ever seen. Most slasher films at the time all just blended into each other and they all felt very much the same. This film, on the other hand, has a unique supernatural presence. It's about a guy who can kill people in their dreams. That's an ingenious concept for a horror movie, because when are you more vulnerable than when you're asleep? And while most characters at the time had silent killers that wore a mask, Nightmare on Elm Street was different for having Freddy Krueger, who had a full face and a personality, and loved being a little shit killing people. That and this movie actually had some likable characters. Nancy is a great protagonist, and you want to see her live in the end. Unlike most other horror movies at the time, where the main characters are very unlikable and kind of forgettable. Overall, A Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the best slasher movies in the 80s, and I highly recommend you check it out. Welcome to day 22 with 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at Child's Play. Now, a killer doll movie is nothing new, but it makes up for it for being really fun. It mainly has to do with how likable the character of Chucky is. He's a murderer, but he's a lot of fun to watch, and the special effects on him is actually really good. My only real problems with the film are Andy's acting. Then again, he was like 6, and the fact that I wish they kept Chucky as more of a surprise that it turns out he was actually the killer the whole time. Overall, Child's Play is a perfectly fine horror movie. But then we get into the sequels. Now that's something. Welcome to day 23 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. And today we're looking at your favorite scary movie. This movie forever changed horror. This film knew the cliches and it debunked the crap out of them. The line, "Some stupid killer stalking a big-breasted girl who's running upstairs when she should be running out the front door," is so clever, and it basically just summarizes this whole movie. I love the fact that for their killer, they use a recognizable Halloween costume. It was already really famous before the movie, and using a costume that literally anybody before this film could buy at their local Halloween store, that could prove that the killer could literally be anyone, even your boyfriend. And the way that the film subverts your expectations around every single corner is so creative. To the opening kill, to the final girl having sex, to who the killer is. Although I will admit, the twist is kind of obvious once you start putting things together. Overall, this film is one of the most clever horror movies I've ever seen. I highly recommend you guys give it a look. Welcome to day 24 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at Saw. Basically, this movie is about a dude who kidnaps people who he thinks are unworthy of life and puts them in insane traps. The traps usually involve these people doing horrible things to themselves and other people. Yet apparently, according to these movies, he's not a murderer. Even though he's the one who built the traps, he's the one who put them in there, and he's the one who made it virtually impossible for them to escape. Yeah, he freaking killed them. This movie's story is genuinely really interesting. You want to know what's going on, who is this mysterious person that's putting them in these situations, and why the main characters are even in this mess to begin with. The sequel go into more depth about the character of John Kramer and all of his various shenanigans, to put it lightly. But looking at the first film by itself, it's a fun mystery. So I recommend you give Saw a look. It's a fun film. Oh, and I guess I'm required by law to have this guy in the video. There he is. Welcome to day 25 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at Frankenweenie. This movie's about a dog that dies. Pretty much Pet Cemetery meets Frankenstein for kids. A little boy named Victor's dog dies, So it brings it back to life, Frankenstein style. I love how faithful this film is to the black and white Frankenstein style. Of course, it being an animated Tim Burton movie, you gotta love the character design. The grand majority of them being references to classic black and white horror movies. And have you guys ever seen the original short film that this movie is based on? Me neither, but I ought to give it a shot. Frankenweenie's a fun movie. Check it out. Welcome to day 26 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at Us. Whoa, all these people look exactly like us. Whoa! But they're all creepier enough. It's not that One of the things I kind of like about this movie is that it actually has some little bits of humor sprinkled throughout the film, harkening back to Jordan Peele's comedy roots, but it's not enough to call the film a flat-out horror comedy, just little bits of comedy when it's the most natural for the scene. The lead actress in this film is freaking fantastic. She's fighting for her life and she wants to protect her family. And you gotta give it to the entire cast of this movie, who all of them pretty much play two separate characters. But probably one of my favorite things about this film is the score. This has one of the creepiest horror movie scores I've ever heard in my life. Specifically the opening credits song, just ooh. Overall, Us is a fantastic horror film, and if you haven't seen it, what's the frick's wrong with you? Go watch it. Welcome to day 27 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. We're looking at Halloween Kills. And this title is pretty accurate because Michael Myers kills a lot of people in this movie. This might even have the highest body count of all the Halloween movies. So this film was fine. It was a serviceable slasher. If you're a fan of Laurie, well, I hate to break it to you because she's not in the movie that much. She's bedridden in the hospital. At its core, this movie is about the people of Haddonfield. They have had enough of this Michael bull crap and they want to put an end to this crap. However, their rage in order to take down Michael ended up turning them into monsters. It was also nice to see some old characters return from the original movie. But I'm sorry, there ain't no way this guy's Tommy Doyle. I mean, I don't really see the resemblance. But overall, Halloween Kills is a fun watch. I'd recommend the previous film and the first movie a lot more, but this one isn't bad either. Welcome to day 28 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. Today we're looking at Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Dear Christ, this movie is a lot of fun. Really, this is just a standard B movie. Only this time, the aliens are clowns and they look freaking hilarious. This is not the type of movie you are meant to take seriously at all. This is a pure popcorn flick and it's a lot of fun. And I freaking love the designs of the clowns. They're exaggerated, cartoony, and they're fun. This guy's my favorite. Overall, if you haven't seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, then what are you doing with your life? Yeah, please, it's a good movie. Welcome to 31 Halloween movie reviews, part 29. My hair is a mess. And today we're looking at Fear Street, part 1, 1994. This movie takes place in the early 90s. So it's an homage to horror movies of that time period, mainly Scream. This movie grew on me the longer I watched it. The characters are likable, the kills are spectacular, and the backstory is very intriguing. And I really like all the different types of killers that this movie gives us, with a good chunk of them resembling ones that we know. Also, unlike a lot of other movies nowadays, this film is actually pretty honest on what it would realistically be like to be gay in the 90s. I'll take a look at the rest of the trilogy some other time, but for now, Fear Street Part 1 is really great. And I highly recommend you check out all 3 of these movies on Netflix, but more reviews coming soon in the inevitable future. Welcome to day 30 of 31 Halloween movie reviews. We're almost done. Today we're looking at The Visit. M. Night Shyamalan brings us a surprisingly really good found footage film after over a decade of bad movies. Seems like it's about nothing special. It's about a couple kids visiting their grandparents. But secrets get discovered and the grandparents aren't what they seem to be. And this is a surprisingly effective found footage film. It doesn't really give us a really good reason on why the kids are filming everything. But then again, when does a child nowadays need a reason to film something? But I think it works for the film. The acting, on the other hand, is classic Shyamalan camp. And speaking of Shyamalan, there's a twist ending. I won't give it away in case you haven't seen it, but let me just say it's crap your pants funny. So The Visit isn't the best found footage movie, but it's a decent one. The perfect movie to watch at your next trip to Gram Grams. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I wanted to get like an Animal Logic video out this week, but that would have been the season premiere, but I just couldn't finish it in time. And I want to do 3 Animal Logic videos this Halloween and have the last one be released on Halloween, so that's a Monday, but I couldn't do that. So it looks like I'm only going to get 2 Animal Logics for Halloween this year if I want to do the whole Halloween thing. But I hope you enjoyed this TikTok compilation, and please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of when future videos are uploaded. And if we get to 300 subscribers by the end of the year, then I will do one giant video reviewing every single SpongeBob video game. But if you want to see that, please hit the subscribe button. But anyway, guys, see you later. Bye!